So we're going to hand to our next presenter. It's Ricardo Wyngaard. I'm sure many of you know him. Ricardo has been active in the NPO environment for quite a number of years. He started off as an attorney, and then he saw the light and changed to a non-profit attorney. So he can tell you all about that. His business is also called a non-profit lawyer, providing governance assistance and legal assistance for NPO. So I'm going to hand over to Ricardo. He's specifically going to address the new NPO Act and what lies in store for all of us. Thank you.
Okay, so hi, good day everybody. My name is Ricardo Wyngaard, and as Nicholas was saying, I'm an attorney by profession. I've been focusing on non-profit organizations since 2001. Since I've completed my studies, I've worked in the non-profit sector, and I'm supposed to only talk for 20 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to just check my watch. It's now 10 to 4, so I should be done at about 10 past 4. Okay? So I'm going to be very brief. Now, with that short time period comes the disclaimer. And the disclaimer is there's a lot to talk about, but there's only 20 minutes. So I'm going to honor the other speakers and only stick to the 20 minutes, which means I'm not going to cover everything. Is that fine? Okay. So I'm actually working from home, and I normally don't wear a jacket. But whenever I put on a jacket, I feel like preaching. So I'm going to take 1 minute just to preach a bit. You know, a couple of years ago, a donor, the ultimate donor, came to a guy called Solomon, and he asked him a question. He said, "Ask of me anything, and I'll give it to you." Now just imagine a donor comes to your organization with that question. I think a lot of organizations will say, check your inbox tomorrow morning. There's going to be a funding proposal. But Solomon didn't say that. Solomon said, give me wisdom to govern your people. Now, that's an important statement. And the donor responded by saying, listen, because you asked for wisdom, I'll give you wisdom, but I'm not only going to give you wisdom, I'll give you more than that, resources as well. So, when we're looking at, as a non-profit organization, in my view, that should be the call of non-profits today still. Wisdom to govern our organizations. And I've got a feeling that once your organization is governed effectively, the resources will follow. But a lot of organizations are looking at the resources and they forget the governance. Okay? So unfortunately, I'm not going to talk about governance today. We just heard an excellent presentation on governance. I'm going to talk about the NPO Policy Framework, which is on the... Yeah. So, this is now basically the Department of Social Development saying that they want to change the NPO Act. And these are the changes that they're looking at. Now, this is very important for basically for all NPOs in South Africa, because in my bit of experience, it's clear that the legal and the policy environment determines the flow of funding to non-profits. Okay? So NPO Act, as an example, when it came into operation, donors started to ask organizations for the NPO number when they get funding. Today we've got over 123 registered organizations. Some of them are non-compliant, but that's a lot. They register, in my view, because one of the key requirements, especially from government, is that we want your NPO number. So that steered the course of funding. A lot of donors are saying we won't fund you unless we see your NPO number. In 2012, towards the end of 2012, beginning of 2013, a lot of organizations got deregistered. About almost 2/3 of those registered on the NPO Directorate site, right? Some organizations came to me and they said, we got deregistered and our donor is saying we're not getting funding. One organization said, we're about to sign a funding agreement and the agreement says we must have our NPO registration